I'd like to open the Board of Water Commission meetings, March 7, 2023 at 12:02 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So
Great.
one and only topic on the agenda today is the water main replacement.
Yeah, great. Thank you for calling the meeting in short order for your next one. I'll just start the one agenda on this is the discussion about the bypass, the water main bypass for the Beechwood Water Main project that's upcoming this spring. As it was designed, the bypass system was called for 2 6-inch diameter pipes on either side of the street for the length of the roughly 2,000 foot stretch of water main replacement. Brendan and Connor and along with Jonathan did some hydrant flow testing on the west side of town, and the pressures are marginal as it is in some locations at the end of Doane Street, some high points, at Highland. I think it's called Highland Street, the one off of Beechwood Street that goes up the hill. So with that, 2 6-inch pipes is not equivalent to the 12-inch in the street. 4 6-inch pipes would be. So, or we went through a few iterations in discussion with Kevin, the contractor, on 2 8s or a 10 and a 6, or what's been proposed in the change order that you have in front of you is a 12-inch, which would be a full size on one side of the street that provides the full transmission service for the west side of town, and then a 2-inch on the opposite side, which is basically just a feeder for the houses on that side of the street, and that's fed off the 12 as well. So with that, I guess I'll introduce Kevin Ciccone. He's the contractor, KJS LLC, and Sean Hart is his engineer. So Kevin, if you want to get into kind of the details of the bypass system, the installation, and kind of just a rundown of the cost proposal that you put together.
Sure, Brian. Thank you. So it was evident that a 12-inch HDPE pipe would be needed to replicate what's in the street now. So we made some calls. I don't own any bypass larger than 6-inch. I'm in a situation where I have to rent this HDPE pipe. So I'm renting the pipe. I'm renting the tools to fuse this pipe and make the connections. And we made some notes on the bypass plan for some hard fittings, such as 12 by 12 T's and gate valves to connect everything. So we would have a full feed just outside the project limits. And this should help ensure that water goes to the area of concern as well as it does today. So then we went through, I provided a proposal for you. It required fusing of all this 12-inch bypass pipe. Once it's fused and in conjunction with the fusing, we will be excavating and installing this pipe below and above grade where above grade works. Once complete, we'd have to chlorinate and sample the bypass system. Take a week or so. Hopefully we get some clean water, good results. And then we would be at the point where we could make connections to the bypass system, terminate the water that goes through Beechwood in the project area, and allow the water to run around the project limits to feed the rest of the town. Then on top of that, there was the final removal and return of the 12-inch bypass system. And there's a little bit of time to get the materials there and load the materials out. And I know total cost for this change was above was above 219,000. It was somewhere above that. I skinned it down as best I could. There is a monthly pipe rental in this proposal of 10,500. 1 month is in the lump sum cost. There's 2 months shown as additional. I'm pretty confident that all this work can be done within 3 months and that pipe can be returned. So I had total costs that weren't in the contract of about $240,000 additional. However, there were some credits available through the contract for the bypass that was included in the contract that won't be used. And it looks to me like the net change is $165,450.
So if this project exceeds 3 months, we're gonna be, water department will be tacked on for how much? If it doesn't exceed 3 months?
10,500. I don't really see that as being an issue, but it's a reality. An additional month's charge would be 10,500 from the supplier of the pipe. I don't own any of this product. I've reached out to United Rentals to get this. I reached out to a few people. United Rentals was the only facility that had 12-inch pipe available that has only been used for a water system. That was one of the conditions I put on them. There's large HDPE pipe that's used to bypass sewer systems all the time, but I chose not to get involved with that pipe.
Well, we're starting on the project next week, correct?
The project starts with bypass, and I would really like to start next week. I have quite a bit of work to make this. I have quite a bit of groundwork to do to make this work.
Mhm.
But yes, I would like to get right into it as soon as possible. I say next week, but I do have to check with the vendor, make sure he can get there on time. And if he can get there on time, I can get there on time.
And we could just hope that the weather cooperates through the next 2 to 3 months.
So we've had a beautiful winter, and
I
of course,
know.
it snows at the end of the season, and it'll make us all nervous. But the good thing is that the weather is only getting better. Even if we do have some inclement weather, we're to the side of the road.
Call from
It won't-
200.
There won't be any major interruption to the road in the next few weeks. There will be pits here and pits there, but the pits will be absolutely fine should we run into a little inclement weather. We got something in the forecast we can anticipate. Obviously, we'd take care of that.
It'll take quite a bit of time to get the bypass online, so I don't know if you're worried about freezing or anything. Nobody will actually be connected to it until it's installed and we're tested.
I know, well, I know we've seen snow in the beginning of April.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
We have. At least it's short-lived.
We hope.
which we would be, we would go in and clean up anything that's,
Mhm.
if our work is restricting any of the plows or anything, we would have equipment there and we could do the cleanup.
Sounds good.
Actually, I have a question, Kevin. You said if the vendor can show up, who is that? And
Oh, it's United Rentals. I
Okay.
talked to them. I've been talking to them for quite some time, and everything, everything takes a little time to develop. So I developed this, I pass it off to you guys, and now we're talking about it. Last I knew, everything's available. Everything should be fine. I'm not talking out of church here. But the sooner the season is starting. So the sooner I give them a commitment, then I know I have a commitment from United Rental for the pipe. I can't give them a commitment for them to reserve this pipe for me because I don't have a commitment from you necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, they kept reaching out to us and saying, do you want this? Do you want this? Because it's rare that they have 12-inch that's only been used for water. So if somebody else speaks up before we make a commitment to them, he can't just pull more and give it to us because most of his 12-inch pipe has been used for sewer bypass. So he just kind of wants to let us know, look, if you don't let me know, the pipe could disappear and then I can't help you.
So you have to pay for 1 month at a time, or will they retro a partial month?
If we're into multiple months, there is a rental breakdown. It would be daily, so 3 days. If you go beyond 3 days, now you're into a week.
Okay,
And then if I go
Just like-
beyond
yeah.
2 weeks, I'm into a month.
okay. And for the
Yeah.
most part, you self-perform all this work anyway, though?
Excuse me?
Do you self-perform all this work?
We will. Yes, we will.
We need to rent the equipment from him. You know, we can fuse up to 6-inch. So I mean, when you think about 6-inch to 12-inch, it doesn't seem like that big of a difference, but it's a whole new setup. It's a much larger fusion machine. And then to melt the joints together, they take an hour each, as opposed to our 6-inch pipe, we can usually do in about 10 to 15 minutes. So yes, the pipe and the equipment to fuse the pipe. It's still the same process that we do. It's just on the scales big.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I just will mention too, so part of this, and Kevin alluded to it briefly, but the, you know, the original bypass was hydrant to hydrant. And you're going from the biggest connection on the hydrant, which is a 4-inch, you know, nozzle. And obviously that's a really big restriction. So this bypass is going to be excavated down and there'll be a T connection to the existing main on each side of it. So again, it's a full size, there's no restriction. So hydraulically will likely be better, you know, than we have been historically, because we're going through a new smooth line, 12-inch plastic rather than a, you know, 110-year-old, you know, tuberculated cast iron pipe.
So Brian, I'm sorry, I did not elaborate on that, but you're right. As originally designed, everything comes off a hydrant. The pump and nozzle is no larger than 4.5 inches. From there, it goes to a 6-inch pipe. You might try to take multiple feeds or feeds from multiple hydrants, but you still have a 4.5-inch restriction. And I did not elaborate that this is full port, 12-inch feed to this bypass system. So, I mean, I would imagine once the bypass is in place, more water is passing this project area than currently does.
And just another decision point. So we went through the connections on either end. There's a shutdown that only affects 1 or 2 houses on the King Street side between Pine Ridge and King Street, where you can cut in a T in the dry. So we can shut that down and just affect a few houses. On the west side at the Bound Brook Lane and Bound Brook Dam connection, there's no, we don't have the opportunity to shut down the main without basically shutting everyone down west of that. So we were factoring in a tapping sleeve and valve, which is a live tap on the main. You know, we could entertain an overnight shutdown, but then again, you're still losing pressure on everybody on the west side of town. And you could cut in a T with a valve rather than doing a tapping valve. I think, Kevin, you said that might save about $4,000.
Yeah, it would save about $4,000, Brian. And the project requires interruption to the westbound side from Bound Brook and from the other side of the project anyhow. There's gonna be a period where a valve has to be installed there, and that's, no matter how it is, it's a shutdown. So if we were to do one shutdown, I could eliminate the tap and sleeve and valve, install the project valve, and install the T and valve for this bypass purpose.
So again, that's a decision point, that we can make as we get closer, but again, it's a $4,000 decision point, right? And it's also, you're trading that versus, impact. It'd be an overnight shutdown, right, Kevin? You'd have it
I'll do it whenever, I'll do it
pre-assembled.
whenever you like, Brian. Yeah, I'll take care of that whenever you like.
Well, also, take into consideration, you do a shutdown for that long period of time. You're gonna have to have the fire department down there. We're gonna have to pay for the trucks to be down there.
Yeah, so I would pre-excavate and get everything ready. And another thing that I didn't elaborate on, because the bypass is gonna take a few weeks to build and get chlorinated, my intention is to go to the existing system, cut in exactly what I need, no matter how we do it. And then once that's cut in, just open up the system again. Everything's gonna run as it does today. Once the bypass is fully passed, then we'll be able to take out the existing system and start the work of the project on Beechwood. Does that make sense to you, Brian?
Right. Yeah, so I mean, so the question is insertion valves and a tapping valve, or do we do a shutdown and a cut-in? And again, it's in the bigger picture of the value of the change order, it's a small amount, but again, I think it's probably worth discussion. Do we want to shut down that end of town, or do we want to just stick with the live tap or live insertion valve?
Well, even if you put in an insertion valve, we're still gonna have to terminate the water between Bound Brook and Beechwood for some time to connect the new work.
Yeah, we can review it with the plan, but I think it was designed so that the insertion valve was inside the limits, so that you could use the insertion valve. You have your bypass outside of that, and then you make your connection, and then kind of reverse the system. But
Okay, I'll be happy to look at that with you.
yeah, so I think it was designed. It said insertion valves at either end of the where we couldn't get a shutdown. So I guess I'll ask Jonathan and Fred, do you guys have any questions or concerns or on this?
Not at this time, Brian. I'll review it some more. I'll get back to you.
I also have Brendan here, if you have any questions, or he has any questions. He's in the office with me.
Okay, great. Does Brendan have anything?
No, we'll have better flow for that period of time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you will have a hydraulic improvement during the bypass, and then, that will stay consistent with the new pipe, which is also plastic, so it'll be an improvement.
We don't usually start a project with a change order, and it really wasn't my intention. I'm sitting here because it was indicated to me that we might choke something out on the other side of town, and we're kind of worried about that. So we were looking for a fix. And I know it seems like a big number. There's an awful lot of cost in this work, and that's where we landed.
Oh, we landed higher actually, and then we cut some.
Yeah, he's right.
We can't really take any more change orders, honestly, because that's the 167 is tapping us pretty dry. So
This isn't necessarily, well, I can understand that. I don't know exactly what the future's gonna bring. Change orders aren't my MO is kind of the point I was trying to make. I was just trying to satisfy Cohasset.
yep.
Do you have any other concerns about the project, Kevin?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
but just, the only other thing is what we don't know, is underground, and we deal with that every day, and whatever it is, it's nothing that's gonna hamstring us or stop the progress of the project. There might be a few minor adjustments, but that's normal business.
The total cost was 167,000 and what was it?
That's the net, 165 was the net increase. And,
Yeah, but that was without the tap and sleeve.
oh, was it? Okay.
Oh, no,
Oh,
no, I'm sorry. No, you're right, Sean. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we need to fine tune a few specifics with Brian, but that's generally, that's right around where we should be.
So, increase of 165,000, okay. Any other, comments, concerns? By the commission?
I'll just mention, you know, options that we have looked at and you know, this is obviously hydraulically the best option, but there are other options we looked at. There is an interconnection with Situate over on Church Street. That's, I think it's an 8-inch connection. Hydraulically, it's not as good, and the water quality is different than our water quality, so we'd be mixing different source waters and different treatments, which it'd be a challenge, and it'd probably be a big discolored and taste and odor issue for that area. And another one that kind of I looked at was just, you know, with the smaller diameter pipe, maybe doing a pumping system, but that would be 24/7 side of the road pump. You have to man it. And then you would need hydraulic pressure relief at the other end. Again, that's subject to failure, you know, based on a pump going 24/7, and also, you know, pressure variations as far as spikes and low pressure. So kind of those two options are there, but we ruled them out for both cost and, you know, quality.
Anything else from the commission's, no, staff, Brenda? We'll make
No.
them,
Nothing for me.
all right.
I'm all
So,
set.
all right, so I'm just gonna make a motion to approve the increase for the Beechwood water main replacement of $105,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. So with that, Kevin, can you and Sean, you know, secure the pipe and then give us a schedule on, you know, mobilization?
I'm gonna get on the phone as soon as I leave this meeting. And I'll talk to you in the morning if I don't get to you this afternoon.
Okay, great. And just, we'd spoken before, again, we have a, you know, a 10-day look ahead on any weather window. So again, good weather's coming. So if we start next week, or even with mobilization, we can look at the 10-day, and if we'll adjust from there. I think the official schedule start was April 1st, but with the caveat that if we have decent weather, we're going to get in as soon as possible. Oh, and also there was a public notice, if the commission hasn't read it, I can send it to you. We sent out mailings and to each of the residents within the construction zone. And I think there was a code red call yesterday, the day before, on the work and what to expect. So if there's any
Okay.
other communications you want to do with that, you can email me and or Justin, and we can go from there. And that includes Kevin and Sean. If you guys have specific things you want to notify the public, let us know.
Will do. Brian, can I just get a confirmation email from you regarding the vote? And I will run with that until we get our documentation finished up.
Sure. And I'll work with Michelle on the official, you know, change order. Signature.
Perfect.
Well, I wish you good luck with this, because we seem as though this season we do not have a deep frost in the ground at all. So it should be easy digging right now too.
We're hoping.
Well,
Yeah,
I've been out in my yard digging a lot, so
okay, good. Did you get to 5 feet?
ah,
No,
close. You'd be
close, all right.
surprised how deep those roots have gone out. that I've pulled.
I know. Well, I thank you all for your time. I thank you for reviewing this. I think this is a good fix for the situation, and I look forward to getting this project completed.
Us too.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you very much for your time today, too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Did you guys have anything else you want to discuss or you,
So just,
Well,
Oh, yeah, this, Brian, what about, staging area? Are they gonna be using here? Because originally they were gonna be storing stuff, I thought over the winter.
yeah, I think, so we haven't talked since our first meeting, but it was just the grassy area behind the treatment plant on the edge of the road. So I imagine they could use that for staging, but if they get the delivery scheduled right, they'll probably just string it along the side of the road and fuse it as they go. But again, that's kind of means and methods. I'll let them do it, but they still have the staging area that we offer them at the treatment plant, so I'd expect to leave that open and they can use that.
All right, and, I'll work with Justin about getting a code red call out to the entire town.
Yeah, I think, can I call you right after this and I'll just conference in Justin, or maybe I'll call from his office? Because I think.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
got-
because I
he's
helped
got
him
something
yesterday
scheduled.
a little bit, with the one he had to do for Beach Street. And it was in the back of my mind, oh, we really need to get one out to notify people of the construction on Beechwood too.
Yeah, yeah. So he sent out the letter mailings to each of the residents yesterday, and they should be getting those. So you might get a call like in a couple of days when those people receive them with questions. And then I think he had a code red scheduled, but we can talk about it in a few minutes.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
okay, Brian, can I also suggest that maybe Justin puts up maps on the town website? Because I know Beach Street is being affected right now, and exactly where on Beechwood Street this is, so people don't have any questions.
Sure.
If you know what I mean, just say here, we're going from here to here, and because sometimes people just don't really figure where it is.
I think the biggest uninformed part of it is going to be all the commuters that come from like Norwell and Hanover and everybody that races every morning to meet the train or the boat,
Mhm.
it's-
I've notified all my friends.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's
I'm
like
saying if
it'll-
we have it on, maybe if we have a map on our website and then let area towns know what's going on, so they can maybe include it on their websites too.
it's
or the
good that- yeah,
community.
I can email it to my counterparts in Situate, Hanover,
And Norwell.
and Norwell. Thank you.
Okay, do we need to officially join this meeting?
Yeah, Lee, you're gonna have to make the
Yes.
motion to adjourn. 'Cause
Okay, what time is it? I don't have my watch.
12:30.
12:30.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 12:30.
Second.
All in favor?
Great. Thanks, Brenda. I'll call you in a minute.
All
Thanks,
right,
Brian.
thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Brenda.
everyone.
Thanks, Lee.
Yep.
Thank
bye-bye.
you. See you guys later.